You know, I was gonna get so much done today. I was gonna get so much done. I woke up this morning and went, I'm gonna get some laundry done. I'm gonna clean up my apartment. It's gonna be such a good, productive day. And then I go on Twitter like 5 minutes later and realize, oh hey, Nintendo just put out a demo. Nintendo, I love you, but sometimes you're gonna be the death of me. So in the age of Nintendo not really doing anything exciting with announcements aside from just dropping directs out of nowhere, this morning Nintendo put out the final Nintendo Direct Mini of the year, where they were showing off a lot of brand new games and some new exciting stuff. No More Heroes is finally coming to Switch with ports of 1 and 2. Control and Hitman 3 are getting cloud versions on the Switch. And most importantly, we got more things on Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now, I originally thought that it was just going to be hey, the game comes out next month, go buy it. But nah, it was not just that. They released a demo of the entire first chapter, literally out of nowhere. Let's talk about it, shall we? If you have no idea what's going on, let me very quickly bring you up to speed. Hyrule Warriors is a spin-off franchise for Nintendo that is basically a crossover of Dynasty Warriors and Legend of Zelda. The original game came out in 2014 as sort of a celebration of the franchise, and that got ported to the Switch back in 2018. Age of Calamity takes those mechanics of Hyrule Warriors, but this time around injects them directly into the world of Breath of the Wild, and not just in terms of aesthetics, also story. This game is said to be a direct prequel to Breath of the Wild, set 100 years before the actual events of the game, right before the Great Calamity. The demo that was released this morning basically covers the entire first chapter in its entirety. So while we are going to be breaking this stuff down, we are going to be getting into very heavy spoilers. So if you want to go into this game entirely blind, you might want to stop watching from here. Still watching? Good. Here we go. Let's start off right off the bat with gameplay. Now, if you've played any of the Dynasty Warrior games, or Hyrule Warriors, or Fire Emblem Warriors, because, my god, there's a lot of them nowadays, you probably will already get the gameplay mechanics pretty much right when you jump in. Hyrule Warriors is basically a hack and slash. You come across gigantic hordes of enemies, and you button mash, and you destroy all of them pretty easily. The mechanics haven't really changed as much for Hyrule Warriors. I haven't played Hyrule Warriors in a while, but a lot of it did feel very familiar, which is actually good in this case because that means you are jumping into something that you're not going to have to worry about fiddling with controls right off the bat. What's different this time around is that Age of Calamity utilizes the mechanics in Breath of the Wild as well. So not only do we have the runes back, but we also now have flurry attacks. So now if you jump out of the way at the right time, you can now do a flurry of blows, just like you do to any Lionel that you come across in the normal game. It's a very cool addition that I think works really well in this aesthetic. In addition to the flurry attacks, you also have access to all of your runes throughout the entire game. So at any point, you can use Magnesis, Remote Bombs, Stasis, or Cryonis to do literally anything. With bombs, obviously, you throw them. Pretty straightforward. Stasis allows you to freeze enemies, so you do a wide range of attacks, and then once they unfreeze, they can get knocked back and knock back other enemies. Cryonis raises a pillar of ice that allows you to get a little higher vantage point that you can then use your paraglider to jump off of, and Magnesis allows you to take any metal weapon or metal object and throw it around, which is always fun. This adds a lot of variation to combat as well, because now you can use runes to your advantage and make some strategic plays while you're fighting down big enemies, like big Bokoblins or Moblins or Lizalfos. The runes do have a cooldown timer, but at no point during the demo did I ever feel like I was just running around waiting for it to actually, be ready to use, which was kind of nice. I always had other options, and that gave me a nice wiggle room in strategy. In addition, you also don't just play as Link in Age of Calamity, you also play as so many other characters. And in this demo, you got to play as not only Link, but Impa and Zelda as well. And they both play very, very differently. Impa's sort of main mechanic is absorbing symbols with strong attacks to spawn duplicate copies of yourself. If you absorb all 3 types of symbols, you greatly increase the power of your next special attack, which can deal a lot of cool damage. Impa plays pretty nice. I feel like play a lot more as Link because I'm so used to that kind of hack and slash style. But Impa does play very, very well. Zelda also plays pretty well too. She uses the Sheikah Slate a lot. Her big thing is everything that she does uses different rune effects. You play as Zelda in the second stage, and it's honestly, it feels good. Both Impa and Zelda play pretty well, although personally I feel like I kept gravitating back towards Link in general, because I felt like that was more of the playstyle that I like. However, both Impa and Zelda still play pretty rock solid. And if you're the type of person that likes to sort of do that kind of, you know, absorbing stuff or utilizing runes to the best of your ability for very strategic destroying kills, works pretty well. The other thing I also really appreciate about Hyrule Warriors is that none of the levels actually really felt long or overly patty. A lot of it just felt sort of good pacing-wise. And the other great thing about it is that it was also accompanied with some of the greatest music too. The music in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity so far, pretty rock solid. The Guardian theme is great, the combat themes are great. It feels like I'm playing Breath of the Wild again, which is probably one of the best things it could possibly do. Aside from that, a lot of the gameplay is pretty much the same. There's nothing really exciting that they're adding to the franchise otherwise, but that's totally fine because, again, this is technically a sequel to a spin-off franchise. Where Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity really steps up, though, is in its menus, actually. Instead of having the standard menus that we had in the original Hyrule Warriors, this time around, Age of Calamity goes for the entirety of Breath of the Wild's map. Certain quests will pop up in different areas where you can go and take down either certain challenges, complete missions where you have to collect a certain amount of items to actually complete them, open up shops, upgrade your weapons, get some more food and materials to make food, and a whole lot more. It's a lot of stuff, and it actually had a lot of stuff in the demo as well. We were able to do a couple of quests for Impa and Link and Zelda throughout the entire demo. Even when I was playing for like 90 minutes, I still got pretty much all of them done with the exception of like maybe 2 quests. And a lot of these quests unlock a lot of really cool things too, like the ability to cook stuff. So now when you enter a level, you'll be able to cook a food item that will give you a certain advantage during the actual level, either reducing damage or increasing your attack and stuff like that. You also get to change your armor, which means if you want to have Link just be completely shirtless other than his boxers, you can do that. And it's glorious. And it also shows up in the cutscenes. Thank you, Nintendo. You're the best. With that out of the way, let's get into the story. And one more time, we're about to get into massive spoilers for this demo. So if you want to go into this game completely blind, now is your chance to leave. It seems very clear based on the cutscenes here that this game is kind of both a prequel but also happening in real time. The game pretty much opens with the Calamity already happening, and then that tiny little guardian that we saw and fell in love with in the original announcement basically hears Princess Zelda's plea and travels through time to right before the Calamity even happened when Link was just a normal soldier. Like the original, Link starts out as a soldier who is preparing for the revival of Calamity Ganon, and he does so well that he gets promoted. But while that happens, the guardian that Link discovers during the battle reacts to Impa's Sheikah Slate, and the towers erupt from the ground. Near the tail end of the level, the Guardian pretty much heads directly to Hyrule Castle and runs into Zelda, which tries to convey something. Probably that, hey, bad stuff's about to happen. And that sort of brings us into the second level, which is where you, Impa, and Zelda all try to go to Pura's research facility in Hateno. Along the way, you kind of cross a Guardian, which is always fun, and that's basically what you're doing in the same level. But once you pretty much get all that done, you go into the Ancient Lab, and you find all the detailed records of the events of Hyrule Castle after Calamity Ganon gets revived. And then the last actual cutscene in the demo is when Link, Zelda, and Impa, and everybody else starts leaving Hyrule Castle on orders to recruit pilots for the Divine Beasts. And then the king notices the Guardian at Zelda's feet and just says, hey, don't forget you gotta still do your things. And that's basically all the cutscenes in the demo. There's a lot of implications of definitely like traveling through time, of just sort of stopping things from happening, which is always fun, which definitely means there's a lot of very hidden details that we're gonna find out as we get deeper and deeper into the game, which is very exciting. The best thing about these cutscenes, though, is that every Breath of the Wild voice actor is back. All of the voice characters from the King to Zelda, Impa, and Pura, and Robbie all sound absolutely amazing. Robbie with a very rock and roll sort of deal, which I absolutely love. Pura and Impa have some great reads, and Zelda just sounds super lively and energetic, which is super exciting to see. It makes me very, very, very excited to actually see where this story is going, and it makes me pretty hooked for sure. Those are pretty much all my first impressions about the demo of Age of Calamity. I know it's probably a little scatterbrained because I'm literally doing this right off on the fly because I wasn't expecting to have to do this today, as were probably everybody. But you know what? Here we are, and we're just gonna make it work. I do have to say, though, I really, really enjoyed the game that I've played so far. I am really looking forward to actually picking the game up on November 20th and playing more and seeing where the story actually goes. In the meantime, though, I also want to hear from you guys. What did you think about the demo? Where do you think the story is going to go? Do you think the mechanics hold up super well? Do you like it more than Hyrule Warriors? Do you think it's actually canon? Who knows? I think it is, but the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff is a little bit sus. It's fine. Anyway, let us know down below, and make sure you are subscribed to Zelda Universe and hit that bell. We will be doing a lot of coverage of Age of Calamity leading up to the release date, and so you want to make sure you get all of that as fast as you can. And we also got some pretty cool projects coming up as well. So join the squad. We're pretty cool, or at least I like to think that we are. The vote's not out yet, who's to say? Have you already done that? Cool. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Twitch and all of our places to keep up to date on all things Zelda. And if you'd like to yell at me for how scatterbrained this video was, feel free to tweet at me at Luca_Starks on Twitter or on Twitch at Luca_Starks as well. And if you like seeing people play video games really, really poorly, boy, do I got a place for you. Anyway, that's all for this. Happy Halloween, be safe, make good choices, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.